Welcome to a brand new season of Industry Leaders. You'll meet people with real passion who through dedication and hard work became our industry leaders. They'll share their inspirational stories of resilience and hope as they advance their chosen industry. On this episode, we'll meet consultants at the front of the recruitment evolution. Melbourne lawyers who are always on your side. Plus, industry-leading on-site compliance solutions. But first, award-winning Choice Energy co-founders Christopher Dean and Alan Gill, who are on a mission to help reduce your energy costs. Industry Leaders, brought to you by Annex Media.
Grew up in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. I got into public relations and deferred and got into sales. By 22, I was leading my first sales team. By 26, I was appointed to the board of directors responsible for 150 people, and that's when I thought I really should go back to school. So I did a business management course in London over 18 months, and then once I got that certificate, I then came back to Australia and was appointed CEO within about 2 years of that. I guess you could call that my apprenticeship before setting up Choice Energy.
I grew up in a town called Bath in the UK. They're very big on rugby union. My father got me down to playing mini rugby at the age of 5 years old, so rugby has been in my veins my entire life. I love it very much. One thing that I would thank my parents for, amongst many things, would be their installation of the importance of education. I'm still a very curious person, and I hope I remain so as well.
Alan and I were introduced by a mutual friend who was a director of a company I worked for in London when Alan migrated over. He sent an email saying, "Chris, meet Alan, you guys have got the same methodology and beliefs."
So we did, and I think within the two sort of common interests that we had were sport and business. I knew about rugby union, he knew about footy, and neither of us knew about the other sports, so it quickly turned to business.
Alan Gill and I used to get together over a beer and talk about customer journeys and helping customers with the right sort of solutions, and we were brainstorming business ideas for a while before we got the Choice Energy model together.
Chris was very good at bringing me into his social life, and everything sprang from there really.
We've since won the Australian Financial Review Fast 50 Award in 2017, and last year we won the Smart Company Fastest Growing Business in Australia Award. So energy efficiency technologies can help a customer's bottom line because they don't actually have to come up with the money to invest in solar. So a bit of a misconception is the big investment and a long return on investment, but businesses are already investing in electricity. So what we're able to do is use their existing budget on electricity and re-divert that into paying for a commercial solar solution.
So there are a plethora of energy initiatives, both at state level and at federal level. They work on the basis of carbon footprint and abatement. Where Choice Energy is particularly strong is helping customers to create STCs and LGCs, which are basically certificates to financially reward them for the investment that they've made in solar.
Some of the concerns around energy increases is the lack of control that businesses have. So we've had 7 Prime Ministers in the last 10 years. The stability of governments are questionable. So businesses really need to take some control back themselves. And investing in energy efficiencies is one way to do that. Solar companies companies don't have any annuity or repeat business. So Choice Energy are very different because we're not just a solar company. So half of our staff help businesses procure their power, they help with metering solutions and other services. Choice Energy have 7,500 energy clients, so in terms of booms and busts of the industry, we're a little bit more insulated, and that means our solar clients are much more comfortable with the fact that we're going to be around in 5 or 10 years' time to back up their long warranties.
Typical day in my life starts with when it gets dark. I like to get up and if I can get on my cycle trainer. I'm pretty addicted to cycling, and with a young family I have to do that a lot of the time when people are sleeping.
The alarm goes off quite early and I try and get a good start to the day, training for whatever sporting event I've got coming up, and I'm in the office by about 7:45 in the morning, ready for an 8:30 hard start.
Chris is the strongest cyclist at the moment, mainly because he's a lighter man, so he can go up hills quicker, and I also am afraid of going down hills.
In terms of the long bike ride, my business partner Alan and I'll be conservative and say me by an hour. For me, companies know more than an ABN number and a web domain, besides its people. So we're really big on investing in our people because it's the people that are on the front line speaking to our customers. So treat your people right and you'll be a good leader in the industry.
The next 12 months for Choice Energy, we'll be looking to do what we've done successfully before, so we want to help more Aussie and Kiwi businesses and homes pay less for their power and use less.
Coming up on Industry Leaders, one of the top 100 fastest growing Aussie companies, Mobile Test & Cal founder and owner Andre Burrell explores what drives him to build the best possible business whilst delivering industry-leading on-site compliance solutions.
I was born in Brisbane, grew up in Brisbane, very close to Ipswich though, so the two cities have more or less become one now. The business now is based in Ipswich, which is nice to be part of more of a regional town, although it is pretty much part of Brisbane now. What gets me out of bed in the morning is I'm obsessed with not only looking after the customer and delivering absolutely awesome customer service, but also just building the best possible business I can build. I want to be perfect in every facet, and obviously in business, perfection is impossible to attain, so that keeps you going each and every day. We're a specialist testing, calibration and inspection business. We're experts in delivering compliance for all sorts of businesses around Australia. And my day is made up of essentially running a team of 55 across Australia and New Zealand, providing strategy, direction, working with my managers to make sure we deliver service excellence for our customers. In a previous life, I was selling the equipment that we now test. So supplier to the industry, largely wholesale channels, some direct to consumer. I originally came up with the idea for the business in around 2009, mid-2010 was when I was really assessing the idea for it. And it came through sheer frustration of not having a good option in the market whatsoever. So it was either wildly inconvenient sending equipment away or dropping equipment off to a laboratory or a workshop for testing, or there was one mobile provider who didn't put their customers first. So I was pretty much sick of having to deal with that, and eventually I decided that I think I can do this far, far better than the way it's being done in the market by anyone else. In late 2010, we lodged the paperwork, did it all with the accountant, and Mobile Test & Cal was born and started trading early 2011. Mobile Test and Cal provide a variety of services. We do testing of electrical safety equipment. So we don't test and tag an appliance, for example. Instead, we test an electrician's gloves, anywhere from 2,500 volts to 40,000 volts, to make sure that those gloves are safe. There's obviously a whole heap of other items that electrical workers use to keep them safe, not just gloves, but that's one example. The next one is calibration. We originally started doing just electrical calibration services, so multimeters, clamp meters, data loggers, those sorts of things that electrical workers would be familiar with. However, over the last few years, especially the last sort of 3 years since 2015, 2016, we've really expanded on the calibration section of the business, and we now offer a much wider variety of calibration services.
I've been with Mobile Test and Cal now for just over 8 years. I've been here from the start. From the start, we were quite small and we're growing all the time. We've grown recently massively.
Second year of business, 2012, we were in the Fast Starters, which is essentially the fastest 100 startups in Australia. And then more recently, so 2017 and 2018, we were back to back on the Fast 100 list. So that's not about startups anymore, that's just fastest 100 growing companies in Australia, full stop.
I started working full-time at Mobile Test and Cal in September last year as the Chief Sales Officer, but I've been with Andre since he started the business, so I've been involved since the very beginning. It's still early days juggling the business and personal, but I actually feel like it's better for our relationship. Andre is constantly switched on to the business, so in the past where we would have gone home and watched TV or had dinner and he would have been doing work that felt like it excluded me, now I can be involved in helping him make those tough decisions and coming up with solutions to problems that we're facing. So it's actually more collaborative, which is fantastic.
Switching off's a difficult one for me. My best attempt to switch off is trying to be as isolated as possible. So I like to go climb mountains, hiking, lots of silly stuff like that. That's very dangerous, and I get eye rolls from my dad who wishes I wouldn't do it, and the wife sometimes as well. Mobile Test and Cal's plans for the future is essentially continue what we're doing in Australia and New Zealand, but deliver it to even more industries. I think over time, electrical is going to become a smaller part of our business, not because it's shrinking, but because we go and deliver the excellence we do to the electrical industry to a whole host of other industries. After that, we plan to deliver the excellence and the effortless compliance that we do here in Australia and New Zealand to the world.
Still to come on Industry Leaders, a man with over 45 years legal experience. Sharrock Pittman Legal Managing Principal and author David Sharrock started the business over 2 decades ago and now employs 20 people in their Melbourne HQ.
Personally, I've been married to Lynette for 40 years, 3 children and 4 and a bit grandchildren, so they keep me pretty active and young. Professionally, my legal career actually started 45 years ago, 1974. A criminal law clerk I was, wind forward 45 years. Today I'm still a lawyer. I'm a business law accredited specialist. I'm also an accredited mediator, which is a different aspect altogether. And I am an author most recently, and I do a bit of public speaking as the reluctant entrepreneur. But really the interest, I think, is in the law firm of Sharrock Pittman Legal. Sharrock Pittman Legal, well, it's an interesting story actually in terms of when we started. Richard Pittman actually started a small conveyancing and probate practice. It was one man for some 32 years. My wife and I, in 1998, started our own legal practice at home. I remember day one, we didn't have any customers at all. There were boxes in our lounge room as we unpacked computers. We didn't even know what a computer looked like, let alone how to work the computer. But we got by, and she's still with me today. And so I acquired the practice, the conveyancing probate practice of Richard Pittman, all those years ago, and the two came together, and some 21 years later there's 20 people here, and we're kicking some good goals. The type of services we provide are pretty varied. We have specialisations. We're accredited specialists by the Law Institute of Victoria in business law, most importantly. That's our heart and soul, really. Property law, family law, and commercial litigation. They're our specialisations. But also we have expertise in the not-for-profit sector with charities and incorporated associations and the like, as well as elder law, wills and estates, estate planning, these sort of areas as well. Of all legal problems in Australia needing help, only 17% end up in a law office. That is an amazing statistic. So the pie is very small for too many lawyers, too many law firms. So you've got to compete, you've got to stand out. We've done that by introducing some ancillary services. We've started an e-law practice with a mediation service which we call Dispute Over. We had the Food, Wine and Music Festival. That had its purpose and its good effect back then. Then I got to thinking that there needed to be something more in an ongoing sense. And so we started a business club. Crazy thing to do. Stretched us every which way. But by crikey, we did it to serve business people, meet their needs in the not-for-profit sector as well as the for-profit sector. We held a special event on the 19th of February 2019. It was one of our business club meetings. That meeting was a buzz with some 50 guests plus our team, so a total of about 70 people more or less. And we had a business book review on innovation. We had a legal spotlight, and we gave away some book prizes and that sort of thing, all over lunch. Somehow that seems pretty good. We've been doing that for close on 6 years now. It's been a very exciting journey for us. Yes, my book. This has been something with a lot of blood, sweat and tears. It's a business book, very practical, in fact a workbook. It's got some 20 chapters. On the front is a prowling tiger. That is a reminder that we've always got to look at our enterprise through the eye of the tiger, and you never know what might leap out at you. In the back of the book are 68 templates and samples from our law practice that we are actually giving away in effect to help enterprises everywhere. Our plans for the future, it's a time for us to consolidate. That doesn't sound very exciting, but it is, because it means we can continue to work on improving ourselves as a business, as a team, for the benefit of others. We can fine-tune and constantly improve our product and our service, as well as focusing on the various ancillary services that I've mentioned.
Stay tuned to Industry Leaders for a Queensland-based consulting and recruitment business. Black Wolf Group Directors Peter Tokalenis and Tanya Abbey have grown since opening in a small home office in 2013 to slingshot into the front of the recruitment evolution.
I grew up in Brisbane, lived in Brisbane my whole life. Wasn't sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was quite sporty. I actually left school in grade 10, so got into the construction industry. And at the age of 21, I started my first sales job. And I stayed there for 5 years, and it was a really good sales environment. Taught me some sort of key skills and all sorts of stuff.
Both my parents are from overseas. My dad's English and my mum is Filipinos. Both my parents worked really, really hard, worked multiple roles. Dad was in the Air Force, so we travelled all around Australia every 3 years. I was always a little bit, loose in terms of liking sales roles and wanting to have more fun than, go to uni. So I fell into sales roles as well. I didn't really have a what I want to be when I grow up moment, but I wanted to be someone that made a difference. So recruitment has given me that avenue to do that. So Black Wolf started in 2013. Pete and I were both working for recruitment companies at the time, and the companies that we were working for weren't really aligned with our culture and values. And we saw that there was a need for clients that wanted more than just transactional sales. They wanted that relationship. We both left our workplaces and we started in a small home office, just Pete and myself, with nothing. And yeah, kind of got into it. So
yeah, it was a couple of credit cards, maybe $2,000, and that was us. It was
a horrible time.
The market was absolutely devastated. It was very candidate rich, so a lot of actually people looking for work, which kind of make recruitment a little bit obsolete if they can, if there's so many people looking for work in the market. And we had to really sort of get in and work and create opportunities. And I think it really made us quite resourceful as to our approach, and we had to develop a methodology that separated us from traditional recruitment agencies and gave us a little bit of a competitive edge. We had a couple of big projects that were really lucrative for the business, and it literally just slingshotted from there.
So Black Wolf Consulting is part of Black Wolf Group. Black Wolf Consulting service professional recruitment. So that's anything from administration positions right up to executive roles. We recruit in all industries and either temporary, contract or permanent positions. And we recruit nationally, and Pete recruits internationally. And the other side of Black Wolf Consulting is labour hire.
I think I enjoy the result, so changing people's lives. I know it's depending on how you look at it, it may be a bit of a stretch in some people's opinion, but we find someone, we put them into a job, ultimately that person, their whole life's changed by that job.
And the other thing too that we really, really enjoy is our team. Even hiring people in our team and seeing them when they have their first successes is really, really satisfying for us.
The part of the job that I enjoy the most is having a really strong relationship with Pete and Tan. I think that they build relationships particularly well. I don't think I've ever met people that network better than they do.
The first agency that I joined was very KPI driven, and a lot of the people that started would get so scared of not meeting their KPIs that they'd end up working in fear most of the time and then making up KPIs just to keep your directors happy. The good thing about Black Wolf is that you don't need to do that.
Pete and Tan are approachable. I'm never afraid to put my hand up and say, I don't know how to do this, or just, I don't know what I'm doing, please help me. And I receive directions, so it's great.
I really genuinely enjoy coming to work here. I find that every single personality in this office, everyone really gets along with each other.
Working as a couple in a business, I think our fights stay at home, first of all. And I think it kind of teaches you that you can problem solve quite quickly. when you remove emotion from a problem. Yeah, we're both quite passionate, so sometimes we can get to the point where we're sort of like not giving an inch on a certain topic.
Yeah, it's great working together. Like I think because we started the business together, we look back on our achievements and we go, wow, like we did this together, it's really cool.